Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my weekly update of my account only, ladies and gentlemen. That's how I'm doing with my money in my investment accounts, ladies and gentlemen, and my brokerage, traditional and Roth IRA, ladies and gentlemen. All-time high was October 7th, 2025, ladies and gentlemen. We had $2,300 and $5,000 and $5,553, ladies and gentlemen. Where are we at in beginning of May, ladies and gentlemen? We are at 136 and 983, ladies and gentlemen. We are slowly building our way up here, ladies and gentlemen. We are kind of flat here. Let me give you some weekly update on the total amount here. Let me get to my phone here. Whatever it is. Okay, we won't be able to do that today, but what the mess is going on? Usually you can see. Okay, whatever. We won't be able to do that on our Robinhood account. We usually tell you the weekly, the monthly, 3 months, and yearly for the whole account, but can't do that for some reason, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know why we can't do that. But, ladies and gentlemen, let's go into the investment part, ladies and gentlemen. In the individual account, we're at $20,838.80 for the week. We're up $322.96, 1.57 for the month. We're at $2,351.50, 12.72%, going back up, ladies and gentlemen. You notice that for the month, it has been really flat after this big upgrowth from April till now. It's like get all the way up to here on April 17th, and it's just stayed flat. But that's good because we're making money, making premium on options and on dividends, ladies and gentlemen. For 3 months, ladies and gentlemen, we're down $258.39, 1.25. That could be changing soon, and we keep going up, ladies and gentlemen. You notice we've got an uptrend going here for the last 3 months. There's the low on March 30th, 2026. Now we're up to the highs year to date. So down $5,780.95, 21.72% overall, ladies and gentlemen. We're up $1,784.77%, ladies and gentlemen. $19,726.53, ladies and gentlemen. That means there's only been $105 put in here, but that's deceiving because in 2025 I had to pull money out of the account. This would have grown a lot more or went down a lot more because of vehicle problems. Took care of that now. Now we're good to go, ladies and gentlemen. We did sell one of our shares here, ladies and gentlemen. Joby here. We're down to one share, ladies and gentlemen. We did sell it on a cover call, ladies and gentlemen. You notice Joby. For today, it got up to 1086, ladies and gentlemen. I had a 1050 cover call on, ladies and gentlemen. For the week, it's up there year to date, and it's still down, ladies and gentlemen. 19.51%. My average cost is $9.31 for one share. And I will be doing a cover call, ladies and gentlemen. Let's look at it. It had earnings this week, ladies and gentlemen. It beat earnings. Estimate was negative 21 per share. Actually, it's 12. Negative 12 per share, ladies and gentlemen. I did sell it, ladies and gentlemen. Made $5 plus $1,050. Made $100, ladies and gentlemen, because I had it bought at $9.50, ladies and gentlemen. And let's look at the trades for next week. This all could change before Monday, ladies and gentlemen. When it opened up, no, I'm not doing $11. I think this is in a trading range between $9 and $11, ladies and gentlemen. I believe this will drop back down. I will go back to the $9.50 and make that $6 per contract, ladies and gentlemen, till it drops back down. When it get back to below $9.50, it might go back down to $9. Who knows, ladies and gentlemen? But that's where I would like to buy between $9 and $9.50, ladies and gentlemen. Then redo the process and start selling cover calls on Joby. keep that profit, ladies and gentlemen. Let's look at what margin looked like this week. Since you notice I did make $1,000, ladies and gentlemen, you'll see this below 9,000, ladies and gentlemen. We had $8,935.98 for a margin buffer of 50%, ladies and gentlemen. Bravo on me, ladies and gentlemen. I did buy some more. I'll show you that in a minute. Top W. I'll probably do that again this week when it drops down, ladies and gentlemen, on Wednesday, because that when I get paid on that, ladies and gentlemen, I'll probably just buy one share, and then my other dividends will pay it off, ladies and gentlemen. Keep me under 9,000 for a while I'm doing a cover put on Joby. But ladies and gentlemen, we got 34,168.22 before we could get total, ladies and gentlemen, I can use, but the margin call, ladies and gentlemen, this had to go down $8,563.19. Let's look at top W, ladies and gentlemen. Top W. I did buy an extra share of this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm still down 21.31%, ladies and gentlemen. But why would I put it in here, ladies and gentlemen? Because of this, ladies and gentlemen, the dividends. 43.72, ladies and gentlemen. 27 cents per share. And this is a 30% margin basis here on this one. And I'm going to keep buying this because it is lower than my other ETF that I have. It's XTDE. I love XTDE, ladies and gentlemen. There will be a video out on this coming this week, ladies and gentlemen. Tune in on that one. It's going to be a good video that this could be profitable within 2 weeks for the year to date, ladies and gentlemen. Year to date, I'm only down $603, 6.32%. But look at the dividend it pays, ladies and gentlemen. The two ETFs are in both of mine, and all three of my accounts in my Roth brokerage in Rothbard, ladies and gentlemen. You notice it's down a little bit. It has been going down, but it's keeping in a nice range where it does recoup it, ladies and gentlemen. 14 cents. I got 257 shares. It does recoup its dividends, ladies and gentlemen, like I said. Let's look at for the week. Look, it's up 61 cents. It could have been up 75 cents if it didn't pay out a weekly dividend on Friday. They pay out on it every Friday, ladies and gentlemen. I get it after the market close on Friday. That's why you see my account grow. Let's go to the retirement account. In the traditional, ladies and gentlemen, for the week, we're still down about $537.44, 1.75%. For the month, we're still up $6,874.63, 8.63 for the past month percent. 3 months, we're down $1,958.10, 2.2%. Year to date, ladies and gentlemen, we're down 16.15%, $16,666.96, ladies and gentlemen. Overall, we are up 1.4%, about $231.14, ladies and gentlemen. And we got $384, ladies and gentlemen. And we are working on our ladies and gentlemen. We could do one sell put. It's trading between $3 and $2.50, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm probably looking at the $2.50 mark, ladies and gentlemen. Lower down my costs. That's what I'm looking for on this one, ladies and gentlemen. There'll be an actual video on that on Wednesday over on Rich Tech Robotics, ladies and gentlemen. How I'm getting my money and how low my debt is, ladies and gentlemen. I'm only down $141.35 on this one, ladies and gentlemen. But I'm keeping, how many shares I'm keeping? I think it was 8. Let me look at my book here. I'm keeping 400 shares, ladies and gentlemen, of the 600 till we get back to $7, ladies and gentlemen. That would put me back profitable, but also I am buying more. I'm looking to get up to 1,000 shares pretty soon, ladies and gentlemen. I could do that everybody keep getting some pretty good money out of this, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I'm doing with this one, with the money. And Resolve, we did get back up to 5,000. There's a video out on that coming, ladies and gentlemen. But let's go to the Roth IRA. We're down on the day. For the week, ladies and gentlemen, we're down $920.11, 3.1%, ladies and gentlemen. For the month, we're up $2,169.30, 7.90, ladies and gentlemen. For the 3 months, we're up $113.88, more 3.9%. In year to date, we're down 10.25%, $3,385.63. We have $1,000 that go here, ladies and gentlemen, because we sold Joby on this account too, but I might be using that for something else, ladies and gentlemen. I'm thinking what I'm going to do here, ladies and gentlemen, to try to generate a little bit more money. I probably would go into Resolve. But look at Resolve. In this account, I got 2,800 shares, but I'm keeping. Look at my book here. We're keeping 800 shares for $8, ladies and gentlemen, and recoup my money on that. I mean, I got 12,000 shares to do cover calls on, ladies and gentlemen. Look at the trading perspective. I go to cover calls first. I don't do it all at once, ladies and gentlemen. Cover calls. This is trading in between $2 and $2.50, ladies and gentlemen. And we could do puts here. Let's look at the put side. Do the puts at $2.50, ladies and gentlemen. Notice I still got one still out here, ladies and gentlemen. Well, there's no money right there. I'll probably do a put right here for $2.50 on the money we're sitting on. I mean, we could do 4 more. Then I could do cover calls. I like to do $3 cover call, but this guy get above $2.50. It could do that, ladies and gentlemen, before the market open up, ladies and gentlemen. Option market open up at 9:30 when the stock market open up, ladies and gentlemen, and close at 4 o'clock, ladies and gentlemen. We'll look at what it does, ladies and gentlemen. If it's still at $2.50, I would do 4 more contracts on this account to use up that $1,000, ladies and gentlemen. That's my preference. I'm looking to get like 3,000 shares of this, and I'll stop and then work on something else here, ladies and gentlemen, in this account. But the Resolve does run back up to $8. You know, if you keep around 2,000 shares, $8, that's $16,000 added to this account. $16,000 added to this account. I mean, that get me way up there, ladies and gentlemen. But we contribute $4,290, ladies and gentlemen. I did get my income tax money. Haven't went here. Haven't went to the credit card. I mean, I need another $4,310 up to max it out, ladies and gentlemen. 165. We'll be going in this on Sunday, ladies and gentlemen. We are waiting to see what might do some SoFi cover calls. Let's get some SoFi cover calls. What can we get off SoFi, ladies and gentlemen? I do believe SoFi is in a trading range between $15 and $25, ladies and gentlemen. If I really want to go, I'll probably go to $16.50, make $14 on one. But we got to look at what it did last week. Now, what I look at, ladies and gentlemen, at the week, ladies and gentlemen, this could pump up $2 really quick, ladies and gentlemen, but it's down 98 cents, ladies and gentlemen. That would be in the range. I love to do a $17 cover call. Since I did a $17.50 last week, $17 would make me $8. $8 is $8. Let me look at the percentage of that. 17 divided by 0.08 equal. Oh no, it's 0.08 divided by 17 equal times 100. That is about 0.5% use of making money off of ladies and gentlemen. I like to get to close to 1%, but 0.5% is pretty good, you know. Slowly getting it. Then if it does go up to $17, then the following week I do put and lower down my cost. Ladies and gentlemen, what is my cost on SoFi in my Roth IRA? Average cost is $18.89, ladies and gentlemen. And I will keep at least once a year to get back 28. That's to be my wash sale on that one, ladies and gentlemen. And still keep on coming because I will be adding more here, ladies and gentlemen. I do want to get another 100 share of SoFi, but that is going to be waiting a little bit. I don't believe SoFi going anywhere no time soon, ladies and gentlemen, because they're waiting on rate cuts, and we look like we're not getting a rate cut this year, ladies and gentlemen. This is what I'm doing with my money. See you on the next one, ladies and gentlemen. Peace out.